I never imagined I'd be the kind of woman who'd question everything about her marriage. But there I was, sitting across from my husband at yet another work dinner, pretending everything was okay. He was glued to his phone, answering messages I wasn't allowed to see. I smiled, laughed when I was supposed to, sipped my wine, but inside, I was falling apart. My husband, Daniel, works as a partner at a big consulting firm. He's tall, sharp, confident, the kind of guy who always owns the room. But lately, he stopped seeing me. I used to be his world. Now I felt like background noise. That night, I met his boss again, Richard. I'd seen him before, but this time, something was different. He looked at me just a little too long. Not in a creepy way, more like he actually saw me. And when he complimented my dress, it wasn't sleazy. It felt genuine. I thanked him awkwardly and glanced at Daniel, who didn't even notice. That moment should have passed. But it didn't. I kept thinking about it. Over the next few weeks, I found myself remembering Richard's words, not because they were special, but because they reminded me of what it felt like to be noticed. Daniel and I barely talked anymore, just schedules, bills, logistics. I tried telling him I missed us. He kissed my forehead and said, "I'm just busy. It'll pass." But it didn't. Then Richard started emailing me. Nothing inappropriate, just a few thoughtful links, casual questions about events. Still, it felt personal. I shouldn't have replied, but I did. Not because I was hiding anything, but because those little messages made me feel something again. Alive. One night, Richard asked if I was going to the firm's spring event. I said yes. He replied, "I'll be looking forward to seeing you." I must have opened that message 10 times. When I saw him at the event, nothing was said, but his presence felt heavier, like we both knew something had shifted. Daniel showed up late that night, blaming a meeting. I said it was fine, but it wasn't. I was used to his lateness, to his distance, but that night it hit differently. Back home, I lay in bed wondering when I stopped being enough, and why it took another man noticing me for me to remember I had value. The next morning, Richard emailed again, this time asking to talk in private. He said it was about Daniel. I didn't hesitate. We met at a quiet cafe near Daniel's office. I promised myself I'd just listen. Richard didn't waste time. He said, "You deserve to know the truth about your husband." My stomach dropped. I asked, "What truth?" But I already knew. He told me Daniel had been seeing someone else, for a while. He'd overheard things, seen behavior on trips, picked up on office gossip he could no longer ignore. I wanted proof. I wanted to scream. But instead, I just nodded. Part of me had known for months. When I asked why he was telling me, Richard simply said, "Because I respect you. You've been in the dark too long." Then he said something unexpected. "I've noticed you, even before I found out." I didn't know how to feel, flattered, embarrassed, vulnerable. I just said, "This changes everything." And it did. That night at home, I couldn't look at Daniel the same way. Everything felt fake, every smile, every touch. I started noticing things, the locked phone, the extra long showers, the emotional distance. I went through his phone while he was in the shower. I found a message thread with someone saved under just a letter. It wasn't graphic, but it was too familiar, too frequent. My heart sank. Richard didn't reach out for comfort. He just messaged, "You don't have to go through this alone." That's when I realized Daniel wasn't coming back. Not really. He had already left me emotionally. I didn't respond to Richard right away. I didn't know what I wanted yet, but I knew what I didn't want, to keep pretending. 2 days later, Daniel said he was working late again. This time, I followed him. He didn't go to the office. I watched him walk into a hotel with the woman from the texts. I didn't wait to see more. I didn't need to. The truth was right in front of me. The next morning, I told him everything. He didn't deny it, didn't apologize, just said, I didn't think you'd find out. That hurt more than the betrayal itself. We didn't talk after that. He moved into the guest room. We became two ghosts under the same roof. Richard reached out again, asked how I was doing. I told him the truth, broken, but clear. Eventually, I packed a few essentials and left. No tears, no fight, just peace. I checked into a small apartment across town. Richard didn't know right away. I needed this step for me. When I finally told him, he said, "I'm proud of you." Not romantic, just real. We met again, talked for hours. I told him everything I'd been holding in. No flirting, just honesty. I cried, and he just said, "You deserve more than this." For once, I believed it. 2 nights later, Daniel said he was working late again.